The college football playoff is officially set. God forbid Indiana is number one, but God forbid there's everybody in America that is scared about Ohio State. Let's talk about it. We begin pretty much a first reaction just by simply saying what in God's name is going on with the college football play. If you think a computer with the BCS a decade and a half ago was nuts, well, I'm not going to sit here and say everything is totally, sunshine and rainbows, but let's just throw this, as I like to say, let's throw this into a little bit of a perspective. And as always, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of these first reactions. Meanwhile, I don't have the thing up on me. There's no point in doing it. So if you figure it all out, let's just go. I'm just going to run them all off. Indiana's 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Texas Tech is 4. Even though Ohio State lost 13-10 to Indiana in the Big Ten title game, Ohio State is not going that far away. They're going to 2. Even though Georgia destroyed Alabama 28-7, Alabama absolutely, because of 13 weirdos in a room, simply put, they have to be in. And they're playing Oklahoma. There are a lot of people that are upset that Notre Dame is out. Miami is in. And the last 3 that actually got in are actually Miami, Tulane, and James Madison. And let's just go off and just name them off here. Miami is 10. They're going to take on number 7, Texas A&M. They fell back because Texas beat them. And Texas is out. So sorry, Sarkisian. He's not getting in. Tulane is going to go to Ole Miss. And Ole Miss, remember, does not have Lane Kiffin anymore. Alabama will have to go to Oklahoma. That is not a given. And James Madison, one of the best young teams and, Division I, AA, or whatever you call them now, they're pretty good, but they're going to have to go to Eugene and take on Oregon and Autzen. So, and furthermore, let's just say this. Let's just run them off because there's a lot to dissect. James Madison, Oregon winner has to go to Texas Tech. Alabama, Oklahoma is going to have to go to Indiana. That's the thing on that. Tulane, Ole Miss winner has to go to Georgia. Miami and Texas A&M is going to have to go to Ohio State. Now, let's just jump into the thing of Indiana. I said this in an earlier snippet on Sunday afternoon. Say it out loud. Indiana's number 1 in the nation. You can't fathom that. In basketball, they're good. It's a basketball school. But Kirk Cignetti has turned this entire organization of Indiana football inside out in 2 years. The guy can win. And guess where he coached? James Madison. They could not beat Ohio State last year. Not even close. Even as good as they were, beat Penn State, beat a handful of other good ones. Indiana went to Oregon and were handling them. So Indiana, who is still undefeated, got that significant win over Oregon, beat whoever they did, and played a very good game, even when Penn State played them. Handled their business and won, even though Terry Smith coached them very well. That win against Ohio State significantly is a big push for the Hoosiers. They're going to get either Alabama or Oklahoma. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them, and they're in the same bracket with Texas Tech. And Texas Tech, Oregon, they may have to face Oregon again. Who knows? But I give Indiana all the credit in the world. They are nothing. They were nothing. Last time they won the Big Ten football title was 1967. And this is going to be a tough challenge for Indiana. And they have the Heisman Trophy winner. I have a firm belief Mendoza will win the Heisman Trophy. So Indiana, 13-10. They outlasted the Buckeyes in the Big Ten title game. Ohio State missed a 27-yard field goal to tie it and they did it on 4th and 1. And usually Ryan Day likes to just rub it in everybody's face, and Ohio State usually likes to do that. But they went on 4, but they chose to kick the field goal at 4th and 1 and missed wide left, and literally wide left. They will be in the same bracket with Miami and Texas A&M, and same bracket with Georgia, who gets Tulane and Ole Miss. But I say this with most up due respect to Ohio State, because there are a lot of people who know I am not an Ohio State fan. In many years, and probably within the last decade and a half, probably 2 decades now, Ohio State gets nothing but 5, 6, 7, 8-star athletes. That program used to be a lot of defense, a lot of linebackers came out of Ohio State, a lot of good offensive linemen. Orlando Pace was one of them, but they have never been that great of putting together a franchise quarterback for anybody in the NFL. I mean, everybody from a JT Barrett, even Kirk Herbstreit wasn't a big NFL guy. But JT Barrett, Cardell Jones, many handful of great quarterbacks. None of them lasted 6, 7, 8, 9 years in one franchise. But here's the thing that I throw at you, because the field is set. There are a lot of teams that are ticked off that they're not in. Texas, Notre Dame, respectfully. I just look at everything and I just see Ohio State getting absolutely pissed off. And I say this with respect because I have a family member who's an Ohio State fan. I have many friends who are Ohio State fans. I have people that are Ohio State fans just because they hate Penn State. But here's the thing that people need, and this is probably the big gist of this video, and I'm not going to and I will shut everything down, and it goes a little something like this. Everybody needs to remember what happened last year when Ohio State lost to Michigan. That was the 3rd, 4th straight year they lost to Michigan, and that was even they lost to Michigan during Michigan's title year. They lost the following year, and since that game last year, Ohio State was absolutely jacked up. I mean, we're talking to the point where we're talking Ryan Day getting the team, and I'm going to say this as politely as I can, generously ticked off to the point where they're not in the Final Four, but they are in the first round, and they had to get numbers, and they played from the playoff on. And from the mentality set after losing to Michigan, they were absolutely a different level. I mean, a different level of being ticked off. They handled number 7 Tennessee at home, and I mean handled them. Then the following week, they had to play the Rose Bowl, and they handled and outplayed Oregon. Following week, they played the Final Four in New Orleans against Texas, and it was a good game until a 7, 8-star linebacker strip sacked and took a ball back for the end zone, and that was the game winner. Ohio State gets nothing, and I sarcastically say they get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-star athletes. That's just Ohio State. They've always been that way. Alabama was the same. Clemson was the same when they had a run. All those teams that win titles. Georgia had that when they won back-to-back. But Ohio State, it's like, you want to win a national title? You want to go to the NFL? Come to Columbus. Ohio State is the measuring stick of college football right now. Everywhere else, it doesn't matter. Ohio State's not a basketball school, but they're good. Ohio State's not a hockey school, but they are formidable, and you've got an NHL team in your backyard. Ohio State is not great in baseball. Volleyball, they're okay. But we now look at Ohio State as a football school, but they still get 5, 6, 7-star athletes. They always have, and they always will, and they have a great system. And you're also in a big city. You're also in Columbus. That's also a very big thing. It's not like you're Michigan State and you're in East Lansing. It's not like Penn State where you're in the middle of the state in State College. It's not like Bloomington, Indiana. You're in Columbus. You're in a top 15 city in the nation. But Ohio State, they are in position to literally, I don't think it's going to matter if it's Miami or Texas A&M. A lot of people think Texas A&M's overrated. But Miami, Texas A&M, I think Ohio State's going to win that game. I think Georgia might be the only threat to Ohio State. And if they get past Georgia, I don't know who's going to win. I think they will stop Texas Tech. But if they get a rematch with Indiana, that might be money, and it might be cinema to watch. Otherwise, the bottom line is do not sleep on Ohio State, because the same thing happened last year. You lose your last game, they go on a heater. They get ticked off, and they just destroy everybody they ran in front of them. So your bracket is set. The college football playoff is set. I don't know what your comments are, but throw them in there. Are you a homer? Are you a Buckeye fan or whatever? The next month and a half is going to be extremely interesting. But as much as I hate saying it, don't sleep on the Buckeyes.